Greetings and welcome to He Sent His Word Radio Roundtable. I'm your host, Diane Woods, and this is our radio broadcast, but we're actually going to be filming our broadcasts so that we can share them with our YouTube audience. Today we're going to be talking about purpose, how to identify our potential, our passion, and our purpose. We'll begin our series just by talking about purpose. Many of us, we struggle with what do I do? How do I do it? There may have been a job change or something that has stepped up in your life and in your way, but God has a plan for our lives and He always knows what He's doing. But sometimes we can push our identity back or push our purposes back just by the busyness of our day. So we're going to look at how to identify our purpose today, and I'm just going to share with you just a few tips on how to actually get started, and we'll continue our series as we go through the coming weeks. So let's go ahead and get started. First, we're going to look at our purpose and how can we identify our purpose? How can we identify our potential, our passion, and our purpose? Well, the one thing that you want to start out with is your 3 favorite activities or your 3 favorite things. Sometimes you can say, well, what does that have to do with it? Well, many times if we don't like what we do, or if we are doing something that we generally hate, it's going to cause a lot of stress in our lives. And you might be already in your potential passion and purpose. And that will be an awesome thing to do, because I'm in my potential passion and purpose because I love to teach. And I love to share what God is doing in my life, as well as what He can do in your life, as using your gifts and talents and how to do that. I just finished creating a series of videos on how to self-publish. So you can visit our YouTube channel and learn how to publish your book step by step. Even authors, many people have a lot of things that they enjoy doing. So we're going to look at the things that you enjoy doing. So if you could grab a paper and pencil, you will see that we will actually get started on how to identify those 3 favorite things. So for example, say you like writing. Just start out with those 3 things: traveling and helping people. Many times when I talk to people, they say, well, I like helping people. I like to write. I like to cook. I like to do many things. But what we're going to do is take those favorite things and we're going to tie them all together to help you identify the things that you enjoy doing and turn that into something that is a tangible, something that you can use to generate income or just empower yourselves in many ways. So let's say we like writing, traveling, and helping people. Well, the 3 things that you write down anything. It could be anything in the whole wide world. It doesn't have to be writing. It could be cooking. It could be dancing. It could be jumping out of an airplane. It could be anything that you desire to do. So we're going to start out with these 3 activities that I just brought up here on the screen for those of you who are watching us on our YouTube channel. So these 3 favorite things, we're going to ask simple questions like writing. Writing what? Do I like writing short stories? Do I write a blog, newspaper? Do I want to write a novel or a book or children's book? What kind of writing do I enjoy doing? The next thing, traveling. Where do we want to travel? You don't have to necessarily travel around the world or internationally. You don't have to do that. You can just like traveling across town. So if you're writing, you're traveling, these are your favorite things to do. And remember, we're looking at our favorite things to do, not necessarily just something that we have to do. I want you to engage in the fact that these are things that I enjoy doing most. I enjoy doing photography. And what I do with my photography, I make postcards and I do lots of flowers and landscapes. I'm not necessarily a portrait type person, but I really enjoy sharing my work. So when I'm in that zone, I am really excited about what I do. So you want to be excited about what you're choosing when you're identifying your potential, your passion, and your purpose. Today we're talking about potential. Here, helping people. You want to help people. Who do you want to help? Men, women, children, families, and age is important. Don't say, I want to help everybody. I hear that all the time. I want to help everybody. But when we start to narrow down our subjects and narrow down what our passion really is, it is to a specific group of people. Maybe it could be children, maybe it could be men, it could be women, it could be families. So we're not putting ourselves in a box, but we do want to kind of identify who is it that God has called me to minister to, or who has he called me to help, to serve with. So those are the three things that we want to start out with. And then the next thing, we're going to back it up just a little bit. And there is something that you always wanted to be when you were a child. Just think back. Just take a moment and think back. What did I want to do when I was a little kid? I was in school and they said, oh, I want to be a teacher. I want to be this, or I want to be this. Those dreams God had placed in you are still there. A dancer, maybe you wanted to be a dancer, or a teacher, a cook, or a chef, if they call them today, a scientist, maybe a nurse or a doctor. Those are some of the general type things that I'm just throwing these out here. Maybe you wanted to be a merchant marine. But remember, we have three things that we said that were our favorite things to do, and that's writing, traveling, as well as helping people. Well, if I was a merchant marine, how would I help people? Well, are you a merchant marine? Are you helping men or women or children? Are you helping them? Are you writing a blog? Are you sharing with them your travels and the things that you've done? You could be writing books. It's so limitless. God has given us such ideas in our heart. And most of you, I can guarantee you already know in your heart what it is that you really, 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 truly want to do. It's just, how do we get this thing manifested? How do we create something that will minister to other people, or just be a blessing to other people? You can be a hairstylist. That's always going to be a blessing to someone else. So you want to look at the thing that you always wanted to be when you were a little child. Go back to that thing, because I can guarantee you that has a part to do with your purpose in life. Then you have to brainstorm. Oh my goodness, brainstorming. And that's one of the things that I do. I sit down with people, we take their passions, we take their purpose, and we just brainstorm. But we also take it all the way down to where we're pinpointing what they really want to do. And the next thing we want to do is kind of put those things together. So let's look a little bit at, for those of you who are viewing us on our YouTube channel, let's look at the brainstorming process for our writing, traveling, and helping people. So we look at our little chart here, and for those of you who are on the radio, just listen in. It says that we're writing, we're traveling, and we're helping people, and we're brainstorming. But we're going to add our writing, traveling, and helping people with our favorite hobbies, with those things that we absolutely love to do. So I want to encourage you today. We get to the next part of our series on how to identify your potential passion and purpose. I want you to think about those three things. Write those things down, and then put down what it is that you always wanted to be. Even if you feel like you might be a little too old, there's always something that you can do in that area, in the thing that you really, really want to do. You can always find some type of activity, even if it's to volunteer, that represents what you have always wanted to be. The goal is to enjoy life, is to be empowered. God wants us to be people that love what we do and are able to support one another in what we do, and not to necessarily tell someone what they need to do. We are really good at that. And sometimes even I desire things for my children or my grandchildren, and they may not want to do that. So how do I handle that? I have to trust God, just like you have to trust God for everything that you do. So tune in to our part 2 of how to identify our potential passion and purpose, and we'll see you next time. Have a great one.